way with respect to the front row boys to gloss over Woodman and 40 and get straight on to Andy Deacon. In for the injured Phil Vickery, and perhaps about to play his final game at Kingsholm after 16 years at the club. The second row, Alex Brown, as always, and Mark Cornwall alongside today. In the back row, it's Peter Buxton and Jake Bohr on the flank, so no Andy Hazel. And number 8, Junior Paramore, completes this pack. Andy Gummersill against his former club at scrum half, partnered by Duncan McRae at fly half. Henry Paul, the favourite for the members this season, their player of the year. He's with Terry Fanalure at centre. And then the two everybody here wants to see with the ball, James Simpson-Daniel and Marcel Garvey. And fullback, Rian van der Berg, with John Goodridge, the young player of the year chosen by the members, still troubled by injury. So to London Wasps, and there's no doubt that last week took its toll, but in fact in the warm-up this afternoon, Craig Dowd has felt a bit of a tightness in his Achilles, so Will Green is off the bench to start in this front row. Tim Payne will be the loose head prop, with Trevor Leota, of course, at hooker, and then Will Green, who would have been on the bench, starts at tight head. Martin Purdy comes in for the rested Simon Shaw. Richard Burkitt, so big in Dublin, at second row. Same back row that played against Munster, that put them under so much pressure. Worsley and Volley, and of course number 8 and captain Lawrence Dallaglio. Peter Richards is Rob Howley's able deputy at scrum half. Alex King, so assured in Dublin, fly half. Stuart Abbott and Fraser Waters, a constantly threatening centre pairing. On the wings, one of the big successes of the European semi-final, Tom Voice. And with him today, Kenny Logan, who's leaving the club at the end of the season. Josh Lucy injured, so Logan getting a chance to be part of the run-in. And Mark van Gisbergen, fullback, clearly one of the players of the Premiership season. As exhilarating as it was, as unforgettable as it was, that win over Munster only serves to take London Wasps one step nearer their goal of achieving the European and domestic double inside a week at Twickenham at the end of May. And what a thought for all Wasps players and fans that is. But coming to Kingsholm is a wonderful way of coming back down to earth. It's time for these players to turn over the exam paper again. Dallaglio and his European heroes.
Well, I think this is an ideal challenge for Wasps because Kingsholm is the most vociferous ground in England. Wasps rose to the challenge of 46,000 Munster men in Dublin. Kingsholm today, I think they'll feed off the hostile atmosphere.
Labelled as rubbish by the coach after their European quarter-final defeat to Wasps when they were hammered. Gloucester know exactly what is required of them today. At the very least, a performance. And that so often delivers the win here. Andy Deacon first played rugby with Long Levens at the age of 15 and now running out for possibly his final game at Kingsholm. Now 38 years of age, 1988 when he first played a competitive game for Gloucester, and that was a terrific reception for Deacon. And now his teammates take the field. They know what is required today. I think my little girl's ballet teacher could have done the team talk for this lot.
He's a true son of Gloucester, Deacon. The other 14 guys today have got to be in tighter spirit as Wasps if they're going to win this.
They're the replacements. Robert Todd could play his final game at Kingsholm. He's off to Sale at the end of the season. And as you can see, Dowd on the bench was going to start, but on the bench. So too Rob Howley, unusual position for him, but a great chance for Richards, who'll be eager to prove himself. Referee Tony Spreadbury, fresh from his Bordeaux trip for the European semi-final a week ago. All French rivalry then, all English rivalry today in the Zurich Premiership. So much can happen over the next 24 hours, so much will, with so many teams fighting for something. Here we go at Kingsholm with McRae starting the match and Gloucester and Deacon getting their hands on that ball from the kickoff And that's a good drive. Leota held in a clasp. And this is what the shed wanted to see. London Wasps with a dominant forward team at the Causeway in the quarter-final. It's a good start from the Gloucester pack as Paul finds Fanalua. In goes Paul again, but it's Gummersall, the former Wasp man, who gives to McRae, and he drills it for the first line out.
Good start for the home team there. Gloucester forwards got a trundle. They didn't get many in the quarter-finals. There you can see Burkitt doesn't control the ball, and McRae in the end drives it deep. Now Leota, so outstanding in both the quarter-final and the semi-final of the Heineken, has a new man in Purdy to aim at. He doesn't have the bulk of Shaw. Critical again, this line-out battle today.
Leota throws, he went for Purdy, and Gloucester have turned it over. They put pressure on, and Leota, who had such an immense game 6 days ago, wayward with his first throw. And now Chris Forty will throw into the line out. And it's Alex Brown, the only man in the team to have started all of Gloucester's Premiership matches this season. They're lying in 4th place at the moment. They want to put pressure on Northampton and go 3rd tonight. Playing for a semi-final spot. And this is a very good start from Gloucester. Up front now. They keep it tight with Forty again. Volleys on the wrong side and gets a bit of boot for his trouble there. McRae releasing Henry Paul. There's a slip by Logan, and there's a chance for Simpson Daniel, but it was turned into Garvey. It's gone forward now, and the whistle has gone, so Gummersall will be called back. But Simpson Daniel was calling for it earlier than he got it. Well, he never got it. It went to Garvey, and that was a chance wasted after Logan had slipped in the mud.
Well, it was interesting to see just how deep the Gloucester backs were. Wasps can't get to them there. You think that's almost too deep. Logan slips there, and then suddenly, well, it's options either way. He could have gone Garvey. Simpson Daniel wanted. There's the slip from Logan, and you just think you've got to give Simpson Daniel a one-on-one. Garvey comes off his wing to offer the inside ball. It was a chance there. It really was a chance.
Nigel Melville looking quite pleased with this start, though. That was perhaps a chance wasted, but it's been all Gloucester so far. Certainly wasn't pleased after the drubbing at the Causeway, and of course that coming on the back of the embarrassment of the Zurich Premiership final last season, when once again London Wasps took Gloucester apart. Change of shorts for Delalio in front of the shed. Big London Wasp pack. Richards will put in. Was injured in Singapore with the England 7 side, where he's been such a star, Peter Richards. On that circuit, Delalio comes away, and it's a penalty to Gloucester as the London Wasps front row stand up in the scrum. And immediately Tony Spreadbury is asked to point at the post.
Craig Dowd's late withdrawal won't have helped Wasps in the scrum, and now it's a chance for Henry Paul to make it 3-0 after that. Wasps scrum stands up. Will Greening came late in the day. He's got a big task against Trevor Woodman. Henry Paul doesn't take long, but Gloucester will want something here because they have blown a pretty good chance of a very early try.
So here's Paul, 189 points in the Premiership this season. Needs 8 more points for 300 in Premiership rugby for Gloucester, and there's 3 to help. He couldn't care less about the stats, he just deals with the match situation, and that is 3 very important points. Now here's the chance for Simpson Daniel, or was it?
Well, yes, it certainly was, because you can see it's a 2-on-1, and Henry Paul's line across isn't really helpful. Van Gisbergen should have been stopped there. Then it was the difficult pass. Simpson Daniel should have had that ball. It was a chance.
Gummersall gets it over the top of Tom Voice. Now Wasps will, as we saw last week, put all kinds of pressure on the kickers. Very quickly up after the restart there, Voice.
It's a question of what pressure Gloucester will put on the Wasps scrum, without doubt. That was a good start for the home team.
Leota going over the top of that line out, and it's a crunch for King, and it comes out for 40. Jake Bohr. Gummersall, McRae. Oh, that's a good line from Buxton. Fanalua picks up. Always happy to help out with the forwards. And he quite liked it in there. Gummersall, McRae. Managed to evade volley, but it's picked up by Richards. And here's Van Gisbergen. Good kick from Van Gisbergen, one of the players of the Premiership, and he's been recognised in that by his fellow professionals. One of the nominations for Players' Player of the Year, which is, of course, the biggest accolade for any player.
Well, Van Gisbergen gives Wasps some territory there. They need it at the moment. They won't be pleased with their start. One bad scrum, and that's two bad line-outs early on. Pressure from Gloucester with the first, and then over the top and inaccurate with the second. Certainly Gloucester have the better start. They look mentally up for this one.
40 throwing that time to Cornwall. Got two yellow cards against Wasps in recent times. Mark Cornwall, mind you, they've been handed out a little bit like confetti at a wedding, haven't they, cards between these two. And it hasn't been the happiest of marriages on the field at times. Trevor Leota is trying to rip that back for his team. Tony Spreadbury holding out his arm.
There's early control from the Gloucester tight five at the moment. They've made a good start to this game.
There's just a warning on from Spreadbury as Gummersall kicks, and now it's the penalty, with the advantage having been played.
Well, it's old-fashioned Gloucester at the moment. You can see 95% of possession there as they're getting the ball, and they are literally tucking it up their jumpers. They're driving it from the line-outs. They're winning Wasp line-outs. They're putting heat on in the scrum, and Delalio will be saying, come on, guys, we've got to be right mentally. But that's a missed touch.
And it's Voice who kicks it a long way back, and Gummersall takes it quickly. Picked up by Van der Berg, the signing from South Africa. He's a big man, and he used his strength there. McRae, and Abbott had a sniff, but he couldn't take Fanalua, and it might work for Gloucester as Simpson Daniel gets away from Fraser Waters. Not so Stuart Abbott, who gets back to make a good tackle. Gummersall, lovely pass out to Deacon, and then Paul. Gummersall again. Fanalua, plenty of support here. He makes the half break and then feeds off to Buxton. Simpson Daniel was impeded, but the referee lets it go because Buxton has found Cornwall, and Cornwall now almost up to that Wasp 22. Gummersall again out to McRae. Henry Paul missed out Deacon, given to Woodman. The props involved in the back line, and Woodman goes off the floor to Garvey. Good attack this from Gloucester. Gummersall again. Henry Paul crossfield for Buxton and Brown to chase. But Logan will have time. But plenty of questions asked there of the Wasp defence.
Yeah, now Josh Lucy is brilliant at the right wing because he steps in. Look at Kenny Logan, though, how deep he is. Normally he's in on the hit early, and because he's not on Fanaloa, he has two paces which you don't normally get against Wasp to get the ball away. It's just not right at the moment for Wasp, and Gloucester really are asking questions.
Delalio, as ever, showing signs of involvement. Here's Gummersall. Good quick throwing from Gummersall that led to that attack. Henry Paul was isolated, but you wouldn't have known it the way he beat the players, all on his own, though. Did very well indeed. McRae. That's the halfway line. Gummersall, good break from the scrum half. Richards trying to collar him. Paramore is there, Garvey too. Fine break from Gummersall, and now he feeds, taken by McRae. Paul. And Deacon drops it. Referee plays advantage for the knock-on. Voice swivels out of the first tackle. Burkitt. Richards. King. Now it's Wasps' turn to play some attacking rugby with Van Gisbergen. Buxton made the tackle, didn't really attempt to get away. That's a penalty. Volley knew it and he points it out to the referee, but Tony Spreadbury had seen it. You could see Buxton just lie there.
Paul Volley saying to Tony Spreadbury, send a back row forward off for lying over the ball. That has to be one of the most ironic gestures of the season. Surely, outstanding player that Volley is. Himself and Lawrence Delalio are two of the best doormats in the Premiership. They take a kick in and they don't half slow ball down.
Volley will say in reply that the opposing 7 will point it out too, so it's fair game. I see your point. Delalio's gone off with that blood injury. King has put the ball out.
Well, with Dowd not on the pitch, with Shaw nursing his ribs and Delalio off, it's a callow-looking Wasp pack at the moment. Up to the next generation to step up here.
Mark Locke, part of that next generation, has replaced Delalio for now. And he's in the blood bin. Leota. Leads off to Payne. Richards pushed off the ball there. That's good aggression from the Gloucester forwards, and look at them pile in. Well, they gave Wasps a pummeling there. And Henry Paul has sliced this one straight to Logan. Who would love to finish his time at Wasps with trophies and be part of it. He's found McRae. Had a lot of rain today and right the way through the week, and it's a sticky pitch and a sticky problem there for Henry Paul. Didn't have much time. And here's Voice to Abbott. Cries of obstruction, but it's a line out. No penalty. Line out to Gloucester.
Henry Paul will have to be very careful, just offloading anyhow. That was a really poor kick. And with the likes of Van Gisbergen and Voice deep, waiting to counter-attack, if he keeps putting crossfield kicks like this on a soupy old pitch, the ball will not go to touch and there will be counter-attack in danger.
Henry Paul, another one of the nominations for Player of the Year. It was a telling moment that when the players picked their top 5. Gummersall really is up for this, isn't he? He's lost that ball, an advantage play. Volley acts as scrum half, picked up by Locke. He does well just to come back at Gloucester, but the advantage was being played still. Nothing coming Wasps' way. It's been another bruising start to a game, hasn't it?
It has, but there's no doubt at all. Wasps, they came out of the trap so fast in Dublin. They've been very slow away this time. Gloucester, undoubtedly, this was a 100 metres race, a couple of metres clear after 20, but 3-0 will keep Wasps very, very comfortable in their ability to soak up pressure and strike.
And the scrum is wheeled. More evidence is required that the Gloucester forwards mean business today. Woodman, 40, and of course Deacon. Deacon perhaps in his final game at Kingsholm. For him it simply has to be a winning exit, no other choice. Gummersall's kick, Van Gisbergen. It's going back towards Gummersall, but McRae and Paramore are there too, and it's Paramore who takes charge, like only he can. I was going to say made himself look big, but he just is. Gummersall to McRae, and he's broken through. Now he's got Fanalua going on that far side, and Simpson Daniel on the near side, and Duncan McRae will regret that pass.
Lovely break. Once again, the Wasps back row getting beaten. I think, look at Volley. Imperious last week, left for dead there as the Wasps collide. He's done all the hard work. He should really have found his man there. Abbott was covering, but really the ball was the one to Henry Paul first to hold Stuart Abbott. There's Joe Worsley getting beat on the inside. There's Volley the other side. Another good half break, but it comes to nothing. But I think Gloucester have got through the gain line more in 15 minutes than they did in 80 in the European quarters.
That's come off Purdy, and then Brown tried to feed it back, and then Paramore booted it back. Simpson-Daniel to Paul. Oh, that's nice for Logan, just sat up for him. That's a good kick from Logan.
Real problem for Wasps at the moment. Their line out that was so good against Gloucester in the quarter-finals is struggling at the moment. Big presence of Shaw at the front was an easy option, and without Shaw, they're struggling. Look at that, 1 out of 4 so far, and the other 3 all gobbled up by Gloucester.
A great surprise as Brown takes that Gloucester have won 8 in a row here in all competitions. Lost just once in the Premiership here in 30 matches now. That was to Bath back in November. That is a record to test any side that comes here, even London Wasps, who are feeling so good about themselves. Will they be feeling as good at full time today as Paramore drives into Richards? Only one winner there. Gummersall, McRae, Paul again, ball was with him and bore to Forage and get it back to Gummersall. Advantage being played. Simpson-Daniel, that reverse pass of his, and Fanalua kicks away the possession, but it doesn't matter because the referee, Tony Spreadbury, has given an offside right in the middle of the field, and Henry Paul can't wait to get hold of this.
Simpson-Daniel just showing his gifts for creating space for others. Tony Spreadbury called the Wasp midfield there. Must admit, I think he's a couple of metres nearer the Wasp try line than he should have been, but it was an early call. And it's a worrying start for Wasps here. They really are not in the same state of mind as they were in Dublin. Not surprising, but if you're going to be a champion team, sometimes you've got to win games when you're not quite right. And at the moment, Delalio, Gatland and Sean Edwards will be thinking, we have to step up on this performance so far. It's not right.
Well, Warren Gatland made the point with Graham before kick-off that Munster had got taken apart by Cardiff last night in the Celtic League. Of course, Munster had a very different reaction to events in Dublin, but it would have taken a lot out of them. And Henry Paul strikes 3 more points for his side there. And they're worth this lead and possibly more. 6-0. Delalio knows it could have been more.
Well, I'm just wondering the extent of Craig Dowd's niggle before the game, because they're missing him, the organisation in the tight, the scrummaging. The Kiwi is being missed in this first 20 minutes.
Gummersall gives to Garvey. Gummersall again. Not to be accurate there. No flag up as Richards keeps the ball in play. Does very well indeed. Finds Van Gisbergen. And that was good old traditional hospital pass. Richards again. King didn't get enough boot on it. Falls for Fanalua. McRae is with him. And there he is. Duncan McRae. Deacon. Van der Berg. Gummersall. Brown is coming on a line here. Burkitt trying to stop his opposite number. Gummersall again. McRae. Deakin will just take the hit. Woodman. Good work from the front row there. 40 went with the 2 props. And they've got another advantage here. Let's see where it goes first with Gummersall to Van der Berg. Inside the 22 now. Gummersall again. Still advantage. McRae's going to have a drop goal. He's wide with that. But here comes Henry Paul again. Great chance for him for 3 more points.
Well, certainly the way he's striking. Once again, ball slowed down. Here's the drop goal to nothing. Doesn't really matter about that unless it goes over. What matters now is Henry Paul's chance. Not a particularly good kick. That was a drop goal attempt of a man who knew that he had a penalty, but once again, was prepared to slow balls down, and once again, they're leaking a few points. And you can see 4 penalties conceded, and this could be the 3rd three-pointer against them.
By the way, Lawrence Delalio just needed some stitches to the top lip. That's where the cut was. Don't think it will worry him.
This situation will, though. 6-0 should become 9-0. Henry Paul in such form he can overcome the commentator's curse.
He's a quick kicker. Well, he doesn't overcome the curse.
That was very kickable for Henry Paul. He really has been striking the ball well the last few months. Let off for Wasps there. Let off for Wasps.
I think all players on the field were gathering for a restart from the centre spot there, and thinking that was an almost given 3 points for Henry Paul, but it was missed, so stays 6-0, and Gummersall again. Well, that's a good pick-up from Richards. That ball was flying at him. Van der Berg. McRae. Paul trying to make amends for that missed kick. Good work from Fanaloa. Had to stop on the pass, but he shipped it very quickly and kept the move going. McRae just short of halfway. Ball to Brown. Number 16, remember, is Will Green. Wasn't due to start the match, that's why he's got the replacement number on. Payne is wearing 3. Gummersall. Van Gisbergen. It's Trevor Woodman who's covering. And then dipping into the tackle. Delalio there trying to wrap up Gummersall, his old mate. Nothing particularly friendly about these exchanges around the fringe. They're meant by both sides. And now Wasps have got a penalty. Got a chance to come back into the match here.
Yeah, just noticing, you know, the Wasps tackling. There's a couple of tackles being missed, and the definitive nature of the tackling is not as it has been the last few weeks. There's Fanaloa putting Simpson-Daniel in space. What Gloucester are doing, they're keeping their width, and they are getting space out there. There's no doubt the Wasps system without Lucy is not quite as effective. Again, you can see if that had been Lucy instead of Logan, Fanaloa probably would have been on his backside about 5 metres backwards.
And they've called forward Mark Van Gisbergen here to go for the long-range kick. See there, tackles have been missed by London Wasps, and that is unusual to have such a big margin at this stage of a match involving London Wasps, and that for them to be on the debit side.
And now it's because they really are not sharp up top at the moment, hence the line out, hence the scrummaging, hence the looseness in their all-round system defensively. They need something to get going. They're not in this game at the moment.
Mind you, well done Gloucester, haven't missed one yet. Van Gisbergen, can he drill this one? No, he can't. Seem to forget the fact that Van Gisbergen has got over 200 points in the Premiership this season. Alex King was the kicker in Dublin. Sport for choice there. Simpson-Daniel, not the biggest man, kept it in very well indeed, but it's something that might lead to a position here for London Wasps. Worsley.
Wasn't smart from McRae, that kick, it really wasn't.
Richards, King, Fraser Waters. Had a great chance to clear there, Gloucester. Will they regret it as Alex King has another dart? Richards got the call on the blind side from Payne. It's come loose. And it's been lost forward, so Gloucester will get another chance to clear their lines. As you said, it wasn't the cleverest piece of play here.
No, it certainly wasn't. I mean, what is the point putting a shallow kick to James Simpson-Daniel, who did well to keep the ball in, but in fact would have been better off letting it go out on the full almost, because Wasps just had a very good situation. It was either Wasps with the ball on the touchline or a scrum on their 22. Not smart play from the fly half.
Tony's probably bemoaning the fact that he's not going to have any liquid. You're going to steal some, won't you, Tony? Fraser Waters, Stuart Abbott. What a good combination it is. We haven't seen them really as an attacking force in this match yet. And there's no doubt that the reintroduction of Abbott into the side has been key for Wasps this season after injury.
It's added a lot of incision into their midfield. We know all about their attritional qualities, but Abbott's a very good player, and in tandem with Fraser Waters, it's a very smart centre combination, a very intelligent one.
And therefore a more complete team. Heading towards the possibility of being, once again, the champions of England, but this time champions of Europe too. But so much work to do over the next few weeks still. And Gloucester there to try and stop them. Trapped by Van Gisbergen. He's got good pace. And he gets away well. Henry Paul makes a tackle, but Alex King to Voice. He's come off his wing now, looking for work.
That's the back three, dangerous.
Abbott. And that's that dangerous jink from Stuart Abbott. A very elusive player. Here's Volley, who can be elusive, but he can be very abrasive too. He was looking for a handoff. Worsley is just looking to take the tackle and then set it back, which he does well. And now Richards, powerful little man, and he does well there to find King. Richards again, Leota. Gummersall clinging on, he'll take his boot off in a minute. Richards, much more like London Wasps now as Payne comes into the attack, the big prop. Richards gets it again, now they're looking to strike. King gives it to Volley. Purdy arrives. Now did Gloucester come in from the side there? The referee was perfectly positioned, it's been knocked on. The ball was obviously out, and the players came in from the appropriate angle. Good defensive work from Gloucester, but they were tested there for the first time in the match. We saw the London Wasps get their forwards and backs moving together with ball in hand in harmony.
Lovely continuity there. I wonder at the end, perhaps Alex King took the wrong option going for the crash ball. Gloucester were very narrow on the defensive lines in the end, but it was good defence. Lovely inside ball from Delalio to Payne. When the forwards get going, they're in business. And this man, Peter Richards, you know, he has tremendous strength. He may not be the complete, intelligent scrum half that Howley is, but he's an athlete and he's powerful. And there's, on the surge of power, there's the cuddly cannonball, Trev Leota keeping the ball, all his. You did wonder whether there was a chance. This is a good inside ball from Delalio. It ended up with King perhaps just going for the short ball when maybe, just maybe, there you go, the hole for Tom Voice.
Gummersall wants good ball here, and he's got it. Oh, he doesn't give a good pass though, and Henry Paul has to stoop right down to his boots, which he does, and stays calm, and then delivers a good clearance kick. Interesting spell coming up there before half-time here.
Yeah, you know, I just watched that attack again, and I think if Alex King had gone with the missed ball instead of the short ball, Tom Voice was through untouched. But certainly Wasps will be at least encouraged. They've got their hands on the ball and they've developed some rhythm for the first time in this game.
Purdy, Richards again showing good hands as he brought that one back into his body, and Worsley with the drive. Richards to King. Here's Abbott. Laid the ball backwards, but now it's back in Gloucester hands, and Simpson Daniel gets away from Logan, who has to work very hard to get back and make a tackle. Simpson Daniel almost away there. Fanalua. Where's that one going? Paramore. Always likes a little chip, does Junior Paramore. And he likes a tackle too as he chases his own chip. Oh, look at that. Great strength there from Gloucester, pushing London Wasps back so they didn't cross that gain line. Van Gisbergen. Burkitt is tackled and tackled hard. Richards, Leota. Show of the ball from Leota. Really enjoyed that. Richards again. Referee again playing advantage to Gloucester. McRae from the long pass from Henry Paul, and once again Gloucester are going through the middle. Now is this Simpson-Daniels' moment? At last he's got it, and he will score. He's been so patient thus far. Now the Shed knows that the Shed delivers. And once again Gloucester are proving to be inspired in front of these fans.
It's the turnover that has killed Wasps there. Good phase of attack, and then the ball is lost. Wasps are in attacking mode. Suddenly they just are so narrow. Again, Logan doesn't know which way he's going. McRae is through the hole. This time he gives the simple 2-on-1. The press from out to in isn't there. The turnovers are too frequent, and Duncan McRae is too good a footballer not to take advantage in the end. He knows it's a simple give. He knows Simpson-Daniel ain't going to miss that one.
And what about Henry Paul from here? Conversion this time, doesn't miss that one. He couldn't quite understand why the previous penalty went astray. Well, he doesn't need to worry about that too much as we stand at the moment, because Gloucester are pulling away here from London Wasps. 13-0 up courtesy of this try. McRae bursting through, not for the first time. That Wasp midfield has been breached, and Simpson-Daniel, clear run in, easy for him, and he's deserved that because a couple have not fallen for him in this first half, but that one certainly did, on a plate.
Porous at the moment though, Wasps, aren't they? They were Titanic tough in Dublin. At the moment there are holes all over the place, and McRae and Paul are finding them. The Wasps need something pretty quickly here, but this is a big lead at Kingsholm for Gloucester.
I think Simpson-Daniel now 8 Premiership tries, 7 of them have been at this ground. Derby scored 5 Premiership tries this season, 4 at Kingsholm, so there's something special here for the players. We've known that for years, and it should come as no surprise. Certainly won't do for London Wasps. And they know they have to roll their sleeves up here to get back into this match. 13-0 down at Kingsholm is a long way to recover from, but if anyone can do it, Wasps can, and this is Voice. And they have a penalty here to start in their aim.
And no doubt at all, I think Lawrence Alalio will want either Mark Van Gisbergen or Alex King to go for goal here. They need a score just to get going. It's Alex King from about 38 metres. It hasn't been a happy first 33 minutes for Wasps at all. Defence is their mantra, and they really haven't delivered. Rob Howley blowing at the moment. He won't be enjoying what he's seen either. You just wonder, all these fine players on the bench, but you know, another score for Gloucester, and unlike Leeds a couple of weeks ago, it'll be too late.
Yes, was struggled that day at Headingley. It was an appalling day. The weather was dreadful. Thankfully it's dried up here today, rain all morning. All the work they've done on the pitch and the money that they've spent as King tries to get Wasps going with 3 points, which he does. Really starting to pay dividends here now at Kingsholm. You imagine all the rain we've had this week some years ago. Well, you would have played on it, Kingsholm, at the end of the season. It was potato patch time, wasn't it?
It was. The pigs used to wallow in the mud here. And I wouldn't say it's as sharp as some of the football pitches we see, but this ain't bad. You can play rugby, as Gloucester have shown so far.
Came off Worsley's shoulder, I think. Now he gets a hand on it. Richards, King. It's a very important 3 points for London Wasps. Good kick from Alex King.
It's a very good kick from King, because the King-Howley partnership has been instrumental in their success this season. Peter Richards, much more an individual at the moment, but King, he's pretty phlegmatic, and he's going to be important today.
This is how the table stands at the moment. Gloucester in third. They can convert this lead into a win. And it puts pressure on Northampton, who of course go to Leeds tomorrow. One of 4 games to be played tomorrow. Come back to that in a second as Gummersall has his kick charged down. Now a live game, by the way, tomorrow is at the Stoop. Harlequins against Bath.
Well, also what an opportunity for Bath if Wasps are to lose this one today. A win for Bath would almost put them there at Twickenham, a bonus point, and that would be it.
Yes, a lot will happen over this weekend, and you can see a large slice of it on Sky Sports. The only action not covered live will of course be in the Rugby Club next Thursday evening. Back to this important period here at Kingsholm, with Wasps starting to come back into the match, getting some territory and points, but Gloucester realising that. Here's Duncan McRae. That space was opening up again in midfield, you know. Henry Paul. Fanalua, good tackling by King. Fanalua, nobody has scored more tries at Kingsholm in the league than that man. Gummersall. Van Gisbergen. Gummersall couldn't make the first tackle. Then it's the second rows, Brown and Cornwall, who do, but it's a good gain from Wasps. And here's King. And Richards. Abbott. See so much of Sevens play in Richards, can't you? The way he takes the ball, the way he moves. Payne.
He knows Sevens player.
Richards again to Voice. It's amazing you played it. Here's Burkitt.
Long time ago.
Penalty Gloucester. Holding on. And the home crowd say that'll do nicely. There's Peter Richards getting off the floor. A touch of Singapore knee when he was out there.
Well, he has startling acceleration, and certainly this surface won't be suiting Peter Richards. He's so quick, so strong, and there's no doubt he's not getting the platform delivered that Robert Howley had against Gloucester in the quarter-final and against Munster at Lansdowne Road last week. It's scrappy when Ross are winning line-out ball. It's tapped, it's a mess. Gloucester's pack controlling this game. They're driving at will, and they're going wide when they want. It's a worthy lead.
Very slow and purposeful walk forward from the Gloucester forwards in front of the shed to this line out. They all look as if they're concentrating and giving absolutely everything. Gone forward. Fanalua. Nigel Melville, quite sure maybe in that face. Let's see.
That's a forward pass. Fanalua just got there a fraction early. It was a no-lose hit-up as well, wasn't it? He was going through the gap, or he was going to hit playmaker Alex King. It's what Wasps did to Ronan O'Gara. Fanalua was going for King that time. Almost.
Delalio to Richards. Here comes Van der Berg, must deal with this. Bang, he goes straight for the man. A physical player. Gummersall to McRae, and Fraser Waters says thank you. Just before half-time, Gloucester make a big mistake there, and Fraser Waters makes them pay. Now, how much will that change the match?
Robert Howley is the king of the interceptions, but that man Fraser Waters not far behind. When he steps off his line, he is dangerous. He's come up early, he sensed McRae's going for it, hands on head for Duncan McRae. That was crass. I thought the attack before Gloucester went for width, but they were a little bit loose. McRae should never have played that ball. Fraser Waters sensed it. He's an intelligent player, and that was an easy, and that has given Wasps a foothold that, quite frankly, on the evidence of 39 minutes, they don't deserve to have.
And it's given them 7 points. because Alex King was never going to miss that kick from underneath the post. And Gloucester will be wondering where that one came from. They shot themselves in the foot. McRae couldn't believe it after he'd done it. Head in hands as Fraser Waters scores the second try of this match. Simpson Daniel for Gloucester, Waters for Wasps. And from 13-0 down, Wasps are right back in this, and it's Delalio and Woodman, the two England men. Richards, volley.
Yeah, just before half-time as well, Miles. That'll really give Gloucester a fillip mentally, won't it?
Could be massive. Here's Richards. And Van der Berg.
Got to make your tackles, Kenny Logan.
In comes Leota from the side. Penalty. You know what you're getting with Rian van der Berg, and that is a fullback that will run back at anything and anybody. And there's an extra 10 metres for Gloucester. Jake Ball. And still Jake Ball leading the charge. Volley's been left on the floor and is hurt.
Another missed tackle.
Gummersall, Van der Berg, Simpson Daniel to Brown. Worsley tried to turn him. And that's half-time. 3 points between the teams, and really London Wasps will be
in whites, but Wasps have stayed in touch. Can the home side keep their noses in front? They need to, for the sake of their title ambitions. Back to Stuart and Miles.
Thanks, Simon. Delalio's team going for number 1 or number 2 in the table. Gloucester fighting it out with Northampton for that 3rd place. So here come Gloucester now. And Andy Deacon going through the shot there. What a day for him. What a career he's given to the Gloucester club. And a special day too, also no doubt, for his son Ollie, who's playing at Long Levens already.
He's a true man of Gloucester, Andy Deacon. Good guy to have a beer with after a game many, many years ago. He still is. He really is quintessential Gloucester. There's Duncan McRae, who has been very sparky today.
By the way, that's 11-year-old Ollie. Deacon's older brother, 43-year-old, he's still playing with Long Levens in the 2nd row. Amazing. And Hazel for Buxton is a change that Gloucester have made at the start of this 2nd half. It's a tactical change.
Buxton's done pretty well in the 1st half. He's been driving tight, as we see immediately in this half. Hazel a bit more pace wide.
Jake Ball. Now Gummersall. Back to McRae, still smarting from that gift of a pass to Fraser Waters. But with 40 minutes to sort out the issue and make sure that Gloucester get this win that they crave. And there's confirmation of that change. Andy Hazel in trouble by injury this season again, but raring to go now. On for Peter Buxton.
Real scrap with Paul Volley. Volley got the better of him in the Heineken quarters, but Volley nowhere near his best at the moment, and perhaps Gloucester think Hazel can tip the scales in the loose this afternoon. This is what Wasps need, and what they didn't have much of in the 1st half. Some drive and some ball.
That's good from London Wasps, but they are driven nearly off it at the end, but the referee says in at the side against 40. And this a penalty for London Wasps. And they meant that, and no doubt the riot act would have been read at half-time by Delalio and Gatland and Edwards.
Yeah, a lot more control though. They didn't get any of that in the 1st half. Made it very different for the halves to really put any definition on the game. And now you can see they get the early penalty because the line-out was good, and Alex King has found a really delicate angle there. And suddenly, you know, from 13-0 down, what, 5 minutes before half-time, it's looking very tight again.
Leota throws to Burkitt. Good take from Richard Burkitt. Now, what can Gloucester do in the drive? Well, that's the answer. He didn't really contest that line out. Not even Alex Brown tried to spoil it, and he is quite a spoiler of opposition ball. It was a case of get ready for the drive, but Wasps have resisted that drive from Gloucester and have come back themselves with muscle. Peter Richards waits. Wanting to use it, and Richards does use it. King Waters, the try scorer. Oh, Logan! Nearly got away there. McRae made a very important tackle. Delalio picks up. Richards again. Leota. Logan still involved at the breakdown. Payne. Volley. Tackled by Brown, and Brown's got his big frame on the wrong side there, and it's been lost forward too, so Gloucester will put into this scrum.
Oh, well played, Alex Brown. A good tackle. Here's Wasp. Stretch in the inside border, Kenny Logan, and that is an excellent tackle from Duncan McRae. That was danger. But Brown again makes a really good tackle on Paul Volley. Paul Volley, excellent last week in Dublin. He's not on his game at all at the moment, knocking that ball on.
Paramore takes himself, doesn't want to get isolated. Jake Ball makes sure he wasn't. Garvey. Delalio was putting pressure on there, but Garvey swiveled out of a tight spot. Oh, and he's got it himself. It came back to him. It must be magnetic. Hazel onto Alex Brown. 40. Gummersall, and it's really on. Not now, it isn't. They had so many outside, and it breaks down in midfield. Quite amazing kick from Garvey, the way the ball seemed to seek him out. Almost as if he's got it radio controlled. Watch this.
Well, that's a wicked bounce for Tom Voice. He left it for Van Gisbergen, and then Garvey just spins it away. And quite frankly, Gloucester have blown a glorious chance. Alex Brown powering upfield, playing superbly again. But from this, really, McRae and Paul, all they've got to do is put some width on it. Look at that. Men wide, and nobody held the man, and the pass was behind. Gilt-edge chance gone.
Delalio to Richards, and Richards goes now, and he can really motor when he gets a chance. And Gisbergen in support. Richards back on his feet. Away from Logan, but behind King, taken by Leota, who resets the position with cement. This is King. Volley. Richards again. Dropped by Waters. He could see them coming. McRae and Fanaloa in front of him. And now Gloucester have the put in. When you couple the wasted chance that we just saw from Gloucester and the gift try to Wasps before half-time, two big moments there.
It's Peter Richards trying to get outside Paramore. The number 8 does very well. Richards is a threat there. Just noticed again when Volley tried to come upfield, Alex Brown is making tackle after tackle. And for a tall, thin man, there's a huge degree of ferocity in the tackling. It's shocking the Wasps and really unsettling them.
One other game being played today, and that's the latest score, and Rotherham will be hoping it's a final score. It's not even half-time. Leicester 54, Rotherham 8. Rotherham relegated to be replaced by Worcester. It's all been ratified now. Worcester just need the appropriate planning permission to get the necessary capacity of 8,200, but we'll be seeing Worcester in the Premiership next season, not Rotherham. That's Hazel. Brown. Gummersall and Richards, two scrum halves. Garvey, McRae, Van der Berg. Jake Ball. There were some hands in from Wasp, but they were taken off it. Garvey hits Voice in the chest, comes to Paramore. You can feel Gloucester trying to reassert themselves in this match after a wobble before half-time. Hazel, well, he's given better passes, and it's going to fall for Waters again, but the whistle has gone for offside against London Wasps. And that is a very important decision, and one which gives Gloucester a great chance of 3 more points. Tony Spreadbury adamant. 12 is Stuart Abbott.
Stuart Abbott is the centre, and that's the man. And I've got to say that, looking at it, looks a pretty straight line to me. Tony Spreadbury called it very early there, but that's a big call. Tight there. They do press, but they're like sprinters. They're right on the line, ready to go, and they might feel a little hard done by there.
Henry Paul, 3 points. Gloucester lead by 16 points to 10. Henry Paul, just that one miss, and a good kicking day from him. They're so well marshalled in defence. Time again, you can think from the stand that Wasps are offside, and they aren't. When you look again, they are not offside. They're just very good at it.
Sometimes, I guess, a victim of their own success.
Good catch by 40. He wasn't held, so allowed to go. Gummersall. Got quite a bit of change on the fringe today, Andy Gummersall. Fanalua. Gummersall again. Paul. Van Gisbergen wonders about the bounce. Garvey put pressure on again. Good defensive work from Van Gisbergen. McRae's taking it to himself. Looking for Paramore, doesn't use him. And then he finds Volley. We announced this week, of course, that he is to leave Wasps at the end of the season. Go to play in France with Castres. Henry Paul from Simpson Daniels, high pass.
Wasps will look to keep Paul up here. He's done well.
Gummersall. Van der Berg, Brown. Gummersall again. Paramore just checks who can take it. Van der Berg, the fullback. And then Paramore takes himself. Gummersall, McRae. The industry in this performance from Gloucester is something to behold.
Variety as well.
Gummersall. They are working hard at the office today, the Cherry and Whites, as they knew they would have to against London Wasps, as Woodman just passes halfway with that latest run forward with ball in hand. Simpson Daniel to Fanalua. Stopped by Purdy, amongst others. Abbott's trying to get his hands on it. Gummersall, referee nearly gave a penalty there. The whistle was going to the mouth. Woodman again, good handoff. Took two to stop him, Delalio and Purdy. Now it's Wasp ball. But it came forward off a Wasp hand.
I was disappointed there. They turned that ball over well. They were short on defenders on the short side, but if that ball had come out, Gloucester had piled near the ball and Wasps had a bit of space there. It's Fraser Waters this time missing the tackle. Trevor Woodman, of course, such a strong ball carrier. That's his real forte, isn't it?
Gummersall, McRae, Fanalua through. The first tackle at least. McRae became the target, and now Van der Berg. Fanalua again, inspired by that run. Gummersall, ricochet, falls for Cornwall, comes out the side. Garvey. Somehow it didn't go forward. The Shed crying for more. And getting plenty. That's the 22 now. Fanalua. Home crowd really responding to the efforts of their team here. Digging very deep. Gummersall, Garvey. Mind you, talking of deep, that's where London Wasps are having to go to defend here. Gummersall again. ball. Tackled by Volley, but it's still with Gloucester. Gummersall caught by Payne. That's a good tackle. McRae. Henry Paul with a chip. And there's a foot out there from Hazel. I think the ball was out too.
Good pressure from Gloucester there. The shed really did up the ante there. And Wasps are showing their concern. I can see directly opposite me Robert Howley about to come on. Warren Gatland needs this win. He wants the break before the Heineken final. Wasps simply cannot afford to lose this. This will be a blow to their European and Championship aspirations.
So on comes Howley for Richards, who once again hasn't done much wrong. But Howley, at the moment, is probably the leading scrum half in the Premiership. Some would say in Europe. Taken by Burkitt.
Line-out's been better from a Wasp perspective this half, which is just as well because they're feeling the pressure.
Volley. Leota going with him. And Howley's first high kick meant for Voice. Comes bouncing back, and of course Gloucester put on side. Gummersall, McRae. Goes for the chip. Simpson-Daniel. Gloucester still have it. Gummersall again. Again it's meant for Simpson-Daniel. Oh, and it's bouncing around in there. They can't touch it, they're offside, London Wasps. Now can Garvey finish it? It will go to the video official, Nigel Yates. But Gloucester believe they've scored a very important try.
Well, that was very sharp from Marcel Garvey. Danced down the touch line. I think he scored that. Predatory finishing from Garvey. Paramore does well. Well, the first one is a better angle because you just need to see who it is makes contact with the touchline flag, because the flag is in touch. If it's not Garvey, it's a score. He's all right at the moment. He's well in field. He's going for the line. Abbott comes in with the weight. It's a try. It's a try.
It is a try. Garvey knew instantly. You could tell by the reaction. And you knew what reaction was coming from the Gloucester fans too. And what a good try that was when you consider the number of phases in that play and the sheer effort given by the whole of the team to advance from their own half and eventually across the try line. Here's Henry Paul from the touchline to try and add 2 more points. Well, he won't.
It's a brilliant kick from Andy Gummersall. He had the penalty. There's the kick to nothing. Fraser Waters going backwards, can't deal with it. And, well, you feel Wasps perhaps should have given the cynical penalty away there. They didn't. And Garvey takes the ball and he finds the try line. It's a good finish and it's superb play from Andy Gummersall.
And it's 21-10. They were 13 points behind earlier in the match. Now it's 11 for London Wasps to try and overcome. Jake Moore is trying to wriggle out of that tackle. Gummersall, Fanalua. Van Gisbergen. Garvey's had a very good second half, heavily involved. Van der Berg. Good work by Boyce. What's all that about? They not been getting on?
Certainly Wasps are under a great deal of pressure. You can see in the second half, 42 tackles in 16 minutes. They started the half well, but when Gloucester have got their hands on the ball, they've controlled it. And Wasps are under pressure. We saw how they responded against Munster. What can they do at Kingsholm?
Gloucester fans are starting to think, well, there's an offside given here against Jake Ball. Here's Worsley. The Gloucester fans were just starting to think of going to the Rec to play Bath next week with a great chance of a top 3 spot. But London Wasps still might have something to say about that in this game.
11 points with 23 minutes to go. There is plenty of life left in this game. It's an amazing world, isn't it, when you think the Bath players and the Bath fans will be watching this and they will be supporting Gloucester. Sometimes you get 50-year rarities, and that must be one of them. At the Rec, supporting the Cherry and Whites.
That's a good kick right deep into the corner from Alex King, and also watching this, along with Warren Gatlin on the touchline, but the Northampton team preparing for their match at Leeds tomorrow. It's Gloucester who get their noses in front if they win, although Northampton will have a game in hand. Northampton 2 points clear of Gloucester at the start of the day, both with 2 to play, but of course this one of Gloucester's matches.
Gloucester didn't jump, they tried to repel the drive.
Just like they did last time, and just like they did last time, they are repelling the drive. But once again, Wasps come back at them. This is still up for grabs, this game. Wasps know it. And they trust their fitness and they trust their strength here, just short of that line. But they've lost it once again. Accidental offside, the decision.
It's a big call. Paul Volley looks quite distraught about it. That was a moment for Wasps to try and get back into this game. Looks like McRae. It's very hard to tell. Rob Howley now. This is one of the reasons that he's in the team. He's there to control the pack, the shape of the game. He's just so influential.
Absolutely wonderful game for Wasps in Dublin, which proved that he is still capable of playing international rugby. He has said that he wants to play for the Lions in 2005. It will be his 3rd Lions tour. Of course, now retired from playing for Wales. And on the evidence of recent weeks, Rob Howley is looking good for that plane. Mind you, a few others who wear the number 9 shirt around Britain and Ireland would say don't be too convinced just yet. It is going to be very competitive for all jerseys, as ever, for the Lions.
Well, that's next year. This year, Robert Howley has other worries. Prime amongst them, Gloucester.
And Paramore back on his feet. Penalty.
Release the tackle player, he knows. Okay.
Well, it should be clear now for London Wasps. And Gloucester have a chance here to get the ball into their supporters. I think that's where Henry Paul wanted it to go, somewhere near the stand roof.
Paul Volley and Lawrence Delalio, the 2 men who made the tackle. I think it's Paul Volley there was the guilty party. That'll hurt Wasps, you know, because they were in a good position. A quick score would get them back into the game, but they don't want to drag on here in front of the shed.
They also can't really afford to concede the next score.
No.
That's why it was so important. Nasty one for Gummersall, but it comes back for Gloucester and they have a chance to get away here. That's Cornwall.
Tigers.
Gummersall is buried. Woodman, McRae, Paul, Van Gisbergen. Got the front row to get past, plus Fanalua. Howley again frustrated. Delalio, Purdy. Advantage here to Wasps. Howley getting dragged in now, so it's a penalty.
Of course, normally it's Wasps who in the last 20 minutes have the lead where they can just shell out penalties if they need to. At the moment, Gloucester have the relative luxury of saying, don't risk anything. Gloucester know that Wasps have got to chase this game.
And nobody is ruling out Wasps just yet. Leota will throw into this line out. Burkitt. Volley has it. Howley says give it to me, but Volley still wants to go. Needs to make sure this comes back on the London Wasps side. Howley to King, to Waters. Advantage here for an offside. Howley again, King. Abbott is chasing. Vandenberg, that's brave, but the referee will come back now.
Plenty of time still for Wasps to get in this game. I'd imagine Lawrence Alalio will say to Alex King, take 3 points. He does just that. So you can see it's an interesting when you think of all the tackles that Wasps have had to make, but it has been Wasps who have had the lion's share of territory.
In the second half.
In the second half, yes indeed. First half, almost exclusively Gloucester.
Craig Dow, we can see on the far side, is stripped off. There he is. And the feeling of a possible emerging injury in the Achilles before kick-off in the warm-up, so I'll start on the bench if that's okay. He could be about to come on now. Alex King. I must get 3 points here for London Wasps. Now they've taken the decision to go for the 3. They have to leave with a 3, and Alex King has turned straight away. And that change about to be made. Dow coming on. 21-13 the score as Dow joins the fray. Said in the week that the All Black side of '99 took their eyes off the ball. And didn't want London Wasps to do it like the All Black side did.
And that's exactly what Richard Burkitt just did. It's a good restart, hang in, but he didn't make the ball his. Here is that restart. Doesn't get great protection always. I noticed that last Sunday in Dublin. Wasps do leave their jumpers exposed at the restart.
There's Adam Eustace, famously sent off against London Wasps, and then the penalty removed. And he's replaced Mark Cornwall, who's gone off. We've got a good round of applause. I think the Gloucester fans appreciate the forward effort today, as they always do. See their side really on their game up front. They love it. Here's Fanalua. Well taken by Fanalua. He's got Garvey outside. Very difficult man to put down, Garvey. Woodman. Paramore back inside that Wasp 22 and looking hungry again, Gloucester. Gummersall, Henry Paul. Fanalua, inside it goes, and Hazel. Gloucester really needed this today, against Wasps as well. After all that has happened between these two, it's a massive lift for Kingsholm, and Gloucester now putting themselves into a winning position. London Wasps really have to work hard now.
That is a beautifully worked try down the short side. Lovely inside passing. Once again, you know, Marcel Garvey beats the first tackle. It's hurting Wasps they're not making the initial hits, but Paul's missed pass is a beautiful one. Fanaloa inside. Delalio, with all his power, is not going to be able to stop Hazel. Lovely missed ball from Paul. It's smart from Fanaloa. The centres combine. Hazel, classic flankers fashion, uses his speed and strength to go over. And Wasps might have just brought Craig Dowd on, but that might just have taken them out of this game. A superb score.
Henry Paul. A superb kick. So that's 28-13 now, and that at Kingsholm is normally enough. We shall see whether it is or not. Paramore. Gumasel, McRae. And Gloucester will feel if they can just take this inside the final 10 minutes with no further alarms, they'll be in a position to close this one out. Wasps are about to ring the changes.
15 points up with 12 minutes to go. That's 2 converted tries plus. I mean, Gloucester really should not let this one go now.
So Waters, Abbott going off. We can see Denny coming on, Locke coming back on. Volley's gone off. There he goes. "19 for 5. Richard Burkitt goes off. 19 is John Hart. Ayula Arinley's on 2.
Is that a white flag?
It is from our graphics department.
Yeah, but they're craven.
Worsley. It's bad enough saying the names, got to type these out. Here's King. Denny. Howley, Dowd. Howley again, there's Locke and Worsley. Dowd showing no signs of any injury. So feeling okay to come on. King to Denny. A powerful sub, Mark Denny. So too Ayula Arinley, who gets through the tackles. Arinley again. Oh, well played Simpson. Daniel just got to tap back. So important. Otherwise, Arinley would have been putting his man away.
Great power from the replacement. Brilliant defence from Simpson Daniel.
And McRae with Arinley trying to charge down. And now Delalio. And Logan. He's nearly away there. Fine defence from Simpson Daniel. Read it very well. What about that explosion of power from Ayula Arinley? And he's still waiting. He's on this near side. It's coming towards him now as Boyce gives it to Denny, and Denny trying to skip through. Fresh legs making an impact here for London Wasps. And they've got the ball. The put-in.
Well, Denny just made a good dart. This is the early one from Arinley. Henry Paul went far too high. Big, powerful man. But Simpson Daniel doesn't cut in and try and stop the big man. He waits wide, and that's important. Henry Paul way too high there. But just watch James Simpson Daniel. He could easily think, I better make the tackle. He doesn't. He waits out. He knows that someone's got to cut the link between Arinley and Kenny Logan. He's that man, because that's a 5-pointer.
Howley to Denny. Howley again to Locke. London Wasps giving it a real go here. They know they've got to score very quickly. Arinley again. Howley. I suppose they'll be thinking about a bonus point as well. As they started the day 1 point behind Bath, who play at Harlequins tomorrow. Tough match for Bath. This is how it stands at the moment. And Bath, as I say, away to Harlequins tomorrow in our live game.
Would only need them leading a win and a bonus point from somewhere to finish top and go straight to Twickenham as the top team of the regular season.
Here comes Robert Todd. What could be his final game at Kingsholm. Fanalua, as ever, gets a great reception from the main stand as he leaves. highly popular figure. As is Jake Ball, and he took a good catch there.
Numbers. And the man in the line. And
Henry
the man
Paul
in the
is
line.
charged with finding touch again. So have Gloucester weathered that Wasp storm, and is that it now? Do Wasps have anything else to give in this match? Now Gloucester scored 3 tries, haven't they? So they've got bonus point on their mind as well.
Well, that could prove very important yet, because their battle with Northampton to finish third is still on a knife edge. Really, Wasps will want to finish well. They've certainly upped the ante with their replacements.
King, Todd nearly got an interception there. But that one come out, he was ready and waiting.
The side 20 in the side.
Howley,
Advantage 20.
Denny. Advantage for a penalty offence against Andy Hazel, the try scorer of the 3rd Gloucester try, the one that's made all the difference really. 15 points for Wasps to find.
Now Gloucester really are at liberty, aren't they, to just slow the game down, get offside, flop on the wrong side. Time is not the friend of Wasps who go.
King takes it quickly. Rinley couldn't find Denny, but he could find King, who got taken high there, and that has hurt him. Ooh.
There's a swinging arm. I must say, I think Alex King was just stepping low inside, but that's going to hurt. I don't think there was anything cynical in it. Immediately a penalty, and immediately Tony Spreadbury says time off.
And with so much important rugby still to come, London Wasps will want Alex King just to take his time here and make sure that he's okay. He was shaken by it, but back on his feet. He clearly wasn't making much of it. He was hurt. He felt it. You can see it there.
And it was high, barely from Trevor Woodman, who's been everywhere today. He hasn't been at his best since the Six Nations, and during the Six Nations perhaps, but Woodman has bullocked around this part today. He has been a steaming minotaur.
He came back from the World Cup and played some very strong rugby, didn't he? And, as you say, just slightly since the turn of the year.
Go steady.
Gone off the boil, but there was nothing
He knows,
malicious
he
in
knows,
that.
he knows.
And Trevor Woodman got a mild warning there from the referee, nothing more.
Why? It was a penalty, but there was nothing to warn him for. There was no intent in that. It was an accidental high tackle, and it was a penalty.
The referee said go steady. I don't think there's a problem there.
Seems a waste of 2 words to me. Mind you, Tony Spreadbury's got plenty to say, but why say it?
Just managing the match, I suppose the referee would say. Anyway, we'll argue later. Here's 40 trying to get it for Gloucester. Gummersall. Logan having to wait. Not got so long now.
Ball from another line out, lost again by Gloucester. By Wasps, sorry.
Howley, Locke. Woodman with the tackle. Howley. Denny to a Rinley. Wasps now stuck outside their own 22. This is no good to them. And the Gloucester players and their body language, they look totally in charge here. Delalio. Logan. Need to get it back to a Rinley, you feel, in the backs, because a Rinley is the man who's made that impact since he came on. He won't be in this attack initially because he's away on that far side. So Howley to King. Voice is tackled by Gummersall.
So elusive.
Delalio, King, and King chips, and Van der Berg goes back. And that's all he has to do. So it's another attack snuffed out by Gloucester, who are now bossing this match.
Yeah, they are. They're in control, and I think Wasps now have accepted their fate. There's 40 going off. He's had a good game.
Desiree Dupree comes on for Chris Forty. Dupree, like Van der Berg, signed from South Africa mid-season. Chris Forty. Can Gloucester get themselves an away semi-final in the Zurich Premiership?
And in all likelihood, against that team again, Wasps. Bath now are in a great position to finish top.
Paul to Todd as they try and play a little bit cheeky on their 22. Here's Garvey. Boyce's tackle goes back through the legs of a couple of players, and McRae puts it off the field, and Craig Dow got a kick there. Or is it more? Remember, in the warm-up, he felt a problem with his Achilles. And this is very worrying for London Wasps.
Certainly the Wasps physiotherapy department are working on the tendon area, and you could see just how much Wasps have missed Craig Dowd until they brought him on. He's a cornerstone of this team, and if this is a problem, it's a big one.
This could be very significant in the context of the whole season. This moment now, Craig Dowd has been so important, hasn't he, to London Wasps this season? So important.
Well, as I said, there was a difference between Wasps in the semi-final and quarter-final and the Wasps we've seen today without Craig Dowd. Without him, they lack a little bit of experience, and you question the quality of their bench. You think of Toulouse's bench, you think of Wasps' bench. Wasps have to have their best 15.
And the stretcher is being called for.
But he wants to get up, which is certainly good news. Well, you can see the ankle lift. I don't know, maybe it's not the tendon. Very hard to tell, isn't it?
It would have to happen, wouldn't it, for Craig Dowd to be running in that particular way. And was that a boot he collided with that he put his own foot on? And he's being applauded by Jake Bohr and his players and the Gloucester crowd. I think everybody in this ground realises the significance of this. What a shame this could be. We wish Craig Dowd all the best. And hope it's not as bad as it looks. Gotting to throw the replacement hooker, but too long. And Paramore on his own. Gotting gets back to make the tackle. Might regret that because Paramore's had a few words. Wasn't taken from the right spot. Ben Gotting was just frustrated with what happened at the line-out. Paul to Tom. Simpson Daniel. Gloucester still looking for this try, remember. They're going to get the win.
Yes, and a bonus try, bonus point from a fourth try would be quite important.
Woodman. But Gloucester have to concede possession here.
It can be no more than a consolation for Wasps. They've still got a couple of minutes. I think we're probably going to be around 85 minutes as we look on at Craig Dowd sitting up there, which is something, I guess.
So much still to be part of this season. Delalio. Still pushing here, Wasps. Howley with the easy ride. Just watching his forwards go forward. The crowd trying to lift Gloucester in defence here. But Howley, and then King, and it's tight, but it's a try. And it's Kenny Logan who scores for London Wasps, as he has done for many years. Final season at the club. Logan snatches a score, and King with the conversion.
Well, Howley, 3 or 4 paces from the short side. He does it so often. He just draws defenders in. That is a really well worked 3-on-2 there. Rob Howley made that one. There wasn't a lot on. Great play. It is going to be a consolation.
Well, maybe a little bit more than a consolation. If this kick goes over and Wasps succeed with that, thanks to Alex King, they surely can't win the match, but they might get themselves a bonus point here.
Watch Robert Howley, 3-4-5, holds the man, King wide, and that is an absolute beautiful ball from Mark van Gisbergen, stepping in to make the space for Logan. Well worked score.
28-20. So both sides pushing for a bonus point, taken by Worsley. Howley. Denny. Van Gisbergen trying to retrieve it. Gloucester will put into this scrum. Time for you to decide on man of the match, Stuart.
Robert Howley, wonderful for Wasps against Munster last week, but I think Gomersall has bossed this game from the base. A lovely, clever chip that was the decisive score for Garvey. He really has been up against his old club.
And right on his game. So man of the match, Andy Gomersall. From the first whistle, he looked at the office. Todd. And then Simpson Daniel. The flag up on the far side, though, as Craig Dowd is now taken down the tunnel.
I saw Andy Gomersall after the quarter-final in the hospitality area at High Wycombe, and he just looked battered and was going, God, that team is something to play against, but he's bounced back like a good one today. He really marshalled this Gloucester team well.
Free kick at the line out. Wasps trying to get within 7 points for this bonus point. Gloucester themselves looking for a 4th try. Very important, these margins now, as Alex King goes through. Denny's with him. Mark Denny's going. Simpson Daniel, can he cut him off? Denny to score or not? Referee Spreadbury had a good look at that.
Just check the ground, it was on the line or beyond, Nigel, please.
Lovely break from King. Denny came very hard and fast, running out of pace. Simpson Daniel carved him up. He needed that touchline to come. Did it come in time? Does he get it on the line? Simpson Daniels cut him down. Now he's big, he's heavy. Does he get there in time?
Not conclusive from there, is it?
It's certainly not.
Tony Spreadbury sent a message to Nigel Yates. I just want it checking.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's on there then, though, isn't it? I mean, Simpson Daniel's not underneath it. I think that second slide. What's this? Definitely not. I thought on that second overhead, he just... Does Simpson Daniel get his arm, left arm underneath? Not there then, you see. But look, he's rolling, and I think his arm is around it. Tony Spreadbury, look, in the background, he's giving the try first of all. And here, Simpson Daniel has to get the arm underneath it. Does he? It's not a double movement, and I think he just slides onto the line there.
That's what Tony Spreadbury thought on first viewing. He just wanted it confirming. And it's over to Nigel Yates to either do that or say no. It will lead to a point for London Wasps.
Oh, and Lawrence Delalio is saying, how long, referee? Wasps.
It's going to say, and maybe more.
They are indomitable, Miles, aren't they?
And absolutely right there, Tony Spreadbury, to go to the video official. Crucial. How long left after this? Alex King, 3 points behind. Oh, they stay 3 points behind. 1 minute, says the referee.
Oh, that's a bad miss from Alex King, isn't it?
Well, it won't affect the bonus point situation, or maybe it won't. That's as it stands now. What about in a minute's time? Can Wasps, the side that will never die, come back and win another one? They've got the ball. They've got the minds. Can their bodies take them there again? King. Logan.
Touchline's Gloucester's friend. They've got to stay in field.
There's nervousness in King's home from the home crowd. A game that was all but won. Howley, Delalio. The patience is there, but they've got to carry this ball a long, long way. Howley to Van Gisbergen. It's going to need brilliance from here. Has to be this move now. Howley, Denny, Voice. Good tackling from Deacon. Denny again to King. Must keep this ball alive. Logan's going, but he's on his own. Throws it inside. Arinley tries to get down there. Gloucester have it. Gloucester have the win. They had to win today. Not just because of the points in the Premiership. They had to win in front of their own, as if to say sorry for the European Cup quarter-final and last year's Twickenham demolition too. And the Shed can celebrate a victory tonight, and one which might see Gloucester into third place at the end of the season. Northampton certainly have the pressure put on them now as they play Leeds tomorrow. And London Wasps, while they don't get the win, they get a bonus point, but will that be enough? We will find out an answer to that question, at least some way to answering the question, when Harlequins play against Bath in our live game tomorrow. Fascinating weekend of Premiership rugby, and in this match at King's Home, Gloucester squeeze home. Stuart.
Gloucester had to get the win. It was absolutely vital they did it. Wasps were not quite right mentally. It showed in the first half. They fought back like the English champions they are, but Andy Gomersall and the Wasps needed it just that little bit more. It showed. I think Andy Gomersall is with Graham. He's the man of the match. Gloucester have the win.
Yeah, let's go down to Graham. He's with Andy Gomersall, the man of the match.
Miles, thank you very much indeed. Andy Gomersall, I suspect that's a win that ticks a few boxes, doesn't it? It makes up for 3 weeks ago, keeps you going in the playoffs, gives Andy Deacon a nice send-off. What's the main feeling of satisfaction at the moment, though?
Oh, it's just great for Deeks, you know. Yeah, there's the Wasps factor, and you know, we've been embarrassed by them this season. It was a great performance today. A bit schoolboy at the end. We were chasing a bonus point, but fantastic for Deeks. Great send-off for him.
Very schoolboy at the end, wasn't it? How nervous were you getting at the end?
Yeah, pretty nervous. It's great for Sky Views, isn't it? Bit of a cliffhanger at the end, but no, it was a bit schoolboy. All in all, we had nothing to lose. We were chasing a bonus point, but it was a bit schoolboy to let them back so close and give them a bonus point.
It was that kind of match all the way through, wasn't it? I mean, at half-time, you were 13-10 up, which is, to be honest, Andy, it was about the worst you could have been the way you played, wasn't it?
We played better in the second half. The first half, we were in control. We just gave a silly interception away. The last 10 minutes, just don't concede, and we conceded a try. Let them back right in the game. Second half was clinical, although the last 10 minutes were a bit shoddy, but it was a fantastic performance.
It's still out of your hands in terms of the playoffs. Northampton go to Leeds tomorrow. How many Leeds Tyke supporters do you think they're going to be down here tomorrow?
Well, I know it's a difficult place to go and play. We went up there on a Sunday, and it was a fantastic battle up front. You know, they won't lie down at all, and you know, you might suspect a win up there for Leeds.
Good luck to you. Well played today, so you're man of the match. Well done, Andy.
Cheers.
So Gloucester cling on by the skin of their teeth. And the shed saying goodbye to Andy Deacon. And that's what he's meant over the years. Over a decade of service. And he's ended with a good win. Payback. How crucial will that result be, you wonder, in the context of the season? As spring becomes summer, though, there's loads more rugby to look forward to on Sky Sports.